Okay, really quickly, because I'm on my way to work. I had an epiphany, of course, because I'm going through one of those phases where every wonderful thought that comes through your mind you must share with the world because it's divine, right? So it was the love. People forget that there will always be love, you know, and a lot of times we need to understand that, like, if somebody leaves our life, that it will be replaced with another love. You know, first you love your parents and they're all that you could think of, and then you have your friends and you love them, and then you find a partner and you love them, and then your friends that were your whole life, you know, sometimes you end up separating or having a different set of friends or growing up, you know, like you break apart from these things, your parents pass, but there's always love. Love always gets replaced and replenished. It's just very different from the love that you originally knew, but it's still love. And the universe, God, Yahweh, whatever you want to call it, you know, they will always give you what you need. You just have to be open to it. And a lot of times the suffering and the loss that we feel is because of what we want, not what we need. Because we want to hold on to that love, because we're so scared that we're not going to find a love like that again. That, you know, oh, that's a really awesome car. I love old cars. You know, we're afraid that we're going to lose that love and we're not going to find it again, so we hold on to it. And when it's gone, we cry because of the loss, because we feel that maybe we'll never have that again. You know, instead of understanding that that moment was over, that life is a series of experiences, and that experience that we were meant to experience, we did. And now it's time to move on to the next level or the next thing. But a lot of times we hold on to that and we create pain and suffering, and we create you know, these feelings of anxiety and frustration because we want, not we need, we want something that no longer serves us, something where the lesson has been learned and it's time to move on to the next level. And if you can believe and have faith that everything is happening just as it should, if you can believe and have faith that, and learn the lesson, take it and move forward and understand that maybe that love will come back, or it'll come back in a different form, but the love will always be there. You know, that affection will always be there. It'll just be given by someone else. And if you're willing to accept new love and new experiences, your life will be so amazing. All you'll know is love and different experiences of love. And when you bump into that person that gave you the original love, you can appreciate them and see them for who they are and love them again, you know, without it being these weird feelings of like abandonment, like you left me, we broke up, like, you know, it's over. It's time to move on. And it's not because you did anything. It's because you learned what you were meant to learn. And now it's time for you to learn something else. You know, or they learned what they were meant to learn and you were a tool. And it sounds like, oh my God, I'm being used. But no, it's just the way the universe works. But if we all come into this knowing that not everything will last, you know, not everyone's meant to be with their high school sweetheart for their whole lives. Some people are, you know, and just take it as it goes and understand that once that love is gone, it will be replaced with another love. It will be replaced with another experience. The universe will not abandon and hurt you. It doesn't do things intentionally to harm unless there's a lesson attached to it. Either which way, at some point it will repair and fix it if you let it. If you're suffering, it's because you're holding on to something that you're not meant to hold on to anymore. You haven't let go, and you haven't accepted the fact that it's over. And that's where the pain and the suffering and all of these feelings and emotions come, is the refusal to accept when something is over. And it's normal. It's normal human behavior to want to hold on to things. You know, it's what we're taught when you're a kid. When I was a kid, I don't want to talk about me, but I know that, you know, most children, they're very quick to give things away. And it's the parents that will say, no, do you know how much money I spent on that? Like, don't give that away and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, because they understand the value of things according to the society. But to a child, they just want to make the other person as happy as they were when they first got that thing. You know, they're not thinking how much something costs and, you know, what the value of it is. And, you know, they're just thinking, oh, this made me happy. Let me give it to someone else and make them happy. You know, and it's kind of like that way with love. I mean, I'm not saying that you should do that with your partner and be like, oh, my partner made me happy. You know, let them go be with someone else and make them happy. And some people are like that, you know, and it's going to happen at some time. I'm not saying, you know, give it away. I'm saying if it happens, don't be so quick to get angry. You know, sometimes a person needs to experience someone else to appreciate you. And sometimes they need to experience someone else to realize that, you know what, this time with you is over. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you or anything less of you. It's just something that they need to go through. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with them. And that's what we need to realize is majority of things that happen to us have nothing to do with us. They have to do with the other person and what they're going through. But Jesus, don't let me hit this motorcycle. I'm parking, so you have to wait for me. So yeah. I don't want to do this, it's too risky. Let's go around the block. And just understanding that everything does happen for a reason. And not everybody's going to admit that. There's a lot of people that are like, no, you're in control of your life and your future, and you do. Yeah, you could do that. But I think when people take control, instead of letting it happen and going with the flow and being part of that universal energy that just flows into each other and happens so beautifully and naturally, that's when war and conflict start. It's when those people are trying to take control and create a scenario that wasn't meant to exist, but they, in their minds, they're like, this is what I want, and this is because it's what they want. And I'm starting to learn that want really is the source of all pain and all conflict. Because when you want something that someone else doesn't want, that's where problems start. When you want something so bad that you're willing to do whatever for it, that's when something bad happens. I mean, and some people will be like, well, I want to be in love and blah, 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 and I'm going to fight for this relationship. Okay, you know, there's a difference. I'm not going to get into that right now because I'm almost at work and I don't have a lot of time to talk. But I myself, this is my journey that I'm sharing with you. I'm realizing that want, that word want, causes a lot of pain and anguish and conflict and wars and problems. The word want, the desire to want, you know, and a lot of people will argue with me about this, but when you just let it flow and you let it happen ever so naturally, so that things are just easy and calm and peaceful and full of love and joy, then things, they happen very differently. They flow very differently. There is like a calmness and a peace that comes with accepting that not everything is perfect and that you're part of this puzzle and that you make it work with what you've learned and what you bring to the table, and how everybody has their part, and that we're all part of this big mystery of life, you know. And then, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm this big hippie and whatever, but let's be real, you know. And then you have those people that are in control and they're like, oh yeah, we're brainwashing the masses and we let them think that all this stuff happens, and then they're the ones that take control and they're the ones that start the wars, and they're the ones that live off well and end up being billionaires and having these families that have had hundreds of years of money, and you know, they have these corporations and they're doing well. And you know, I would love to meet these people because I want to see if they're even happy. Are they happy? Because one, we never see them, and I mean, I'm sure they, to me, like when I think of those people, I always think that they're the ones that are doing like the movie Hostel, you know what I mean? Because they're just like so free and they do whatever they want. They have all these orgies, you know what I mean? They're like living like crazy people. They're like killing people and experiencing it, and like they have no rules because they take control of what they want, and they feel like that's really what the purpose of life is, and therefore they're always in charge and stuff like that. And some people might argue that, you know, that's the way it's supposed to be, and that we've fallen off, and that they've trained us to be these passive people that believe in fate and God and everything happens for a reason. And I would like to believe that, but I personally have experienced miracles. I personally have experienced moments that can't be explained. that they're not part of a brainwash. They're actual things that, like, I've experienced deja vu. I've experienced seeing the future and then living it. And for me, my personal truth and my belief before any of this stuff was taught to me, you know, I'm still able to tap into that and see it for what it is. Now, yes, some of it's learned. I'm very aware of what's learned, you know, but it's just a way of me to express what I already know to be true. So I'm sharing that with you guys because I've seen those people in power. You know, I've worked for so many people. I've worked for billionaires, you know, billion, like that's a lot of money. I've worked for 2 billionaires so far. And the way that they live life is very different than obviously the way that we live life. They have whatever they want, whenever they want. They jump on a plane, do whatever. And yes, you could say they're happy, but I've also seen their children. And I've seen our children. And I've seen how they brainwash their kids to believe that what they're doing is right. I've seen them go through life without real love. Constantly changing, and they're like, oh, this is great. Meanwhile, they're destroying everybody that comes into their life. Maybe they leave them with a little bit of something. I've seen a lot of things I can't talk about. But in my heart, I know that what I speak is the truth for me and for anybody who might be feeling that. So I talk. I talk so that you can learn and that you can listen, and that hopefully it can affect you and change you in a positive way. I talk so that you know that you're not alone, so that we can be on the same page and you know that there's somebody out there that feels and thinks the way you do. And perhaps some of the things that I tell you or share with you, you can use in your life to improve it and to expand the way that you think so that you can make better decisions for yourself. Because in reality, what I want to share with you guys is the ability to make better decisions based on common sense, which some people don't have, based on experience that you might not have experienced, and you can hear it through someone else's words and then figure out what's best for you. I don't want anybody to get divorced and break up with the person that they're with because of anything that I say. I don't want anyone to, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor, I'm just somebody who's sharing my experiences and what I've gone through and what I've learned with others. And like I've said in every single video, most of them, this isn't meant for everybody. It's meant to reach the person that it's meant to reach. You know, some people have shut the video off already, and some people are watching it till the very end. But it's not meant for everybody. It's meant for who it's meant to reach. And I'm just sharing with you guys the epiphany that I had this morning and the experiences that I've had in my life. And I hope that this reached whoever it was meant to reach, because I was meant to record this and someone's meant to watch it. And I hope you find your flow. I'm in the flow right now. I hope you find your flow, where you go out and you meet people and they tell you something and it leads you to, it's another event or a person that tells you something that leads you to, and then all of a sudden you're on your path and the doors start opening and people start saying this and you're like, yeah, I always wanted to do this. And then these people open up their hearts, their minds, and their resources to help you achieve what you were meant to achieve, because you had the strength to speak about it. Because as you met these people, you saw that they were put there to help you, and you're in that flow. And I know a lot of people that have said that, like there was a time in my life that everything was happening and I could feel it. I felt connected to the universe. I was in this flow, and then all of a sudden it disappeared. And I always tell people, go back to that moment where it disappeared. Something happened. And most of the time it's your want. What you wanted was greater than the flow. And instead of you going with the flow, you fought it, you resisted it, and you followed your want and your desire more, and it took you off your path. because all you were focused on now was making that desire, that want, a reality when it wasn't time yet. You know, I've been thinking about my community center since I was 13. We're talking 23 years, and now things are falling into place. You know, but I always had that thought with me. Could I have done it earlier? Yeah. Would it have succeeded? I don't know. I wasn't ready. I didn't know what I know now. I didn't have the heart, the passion, the perseverance, the whatever it takes attitude, the desire, the fire that I have now. I had it for moments, but not as consistent as it is now. And I think that's what you need to do something like that. Everything that's happening now is because of everything that I went through. And that's what I want to share with you guys, is that everything that you're going through is preparing you for something. I don't know what it is. Everybody's path is different. Everybody's journey is different. But when you feel connected to the universe, when the miracles are happening, when the people you meet are not coincidences, they're just like, wow, this is exactly what I needed when I needed it. You know, I just thought about this, and then all of a sudden it appears and it's part of my life. You know, it's like you're manifesting things on a very frequent level. Then you know you're in the flow. And that's basically what I wanted to share with you guys. But I'm going to be late for work, so I got to go. Peace out.